Welcome to Talk Breakfast. Let's go to a man who I've waited for all morning. He's now a star of stage and screen and has moved beyond coming in. He just welcomes us to his dressing room in the middle of his worldwide tour. He's in a working men's club, it seems. Peter Bleksley, a very good morning. How's the tour going, dear boy? You look slightly more tired than usual.
It's going very well, thank you. I'm performing to sold-out audiences, the length and breadth of the country. So don't try and get a ticket for Stamford tonight. That's sold out. But Nottingham on Saturday, or Basildon on Friday, or Guildford on Sunday, there's still a few tickets left. So
am I taking a cut? Am I taking a cut from you using this show as a marketing tool, or what?
If you were to speak very nicely to me off air, then I might just be able to sort out a couple of complimentaries for you and Mrs. Kyle. How's that for a deal?
That's a deal. Have you got, before we get serious, because you are going to blow this out the water, have you got a dad joke for me that's broadcastable on the back of Keir Starmer's Kama Sutra joke yesterday? Have you got one that's broadcastable, Blexley?
Yes, I have. I after the show, I went to the pub last night and I came back to the hotel with a greyhound, which I'd bought off a bloke.
Yeah.
And my wife said to me, "What are you going to do with that?" I said, "I'm going to race it." She said, "Looking at the state of it, I think you'll beat it."
Rubbish. Right, Pete, I'm going to cut over the democracy thing. I'm going to go straight to something that I think is beyond shameless, and it highlights, I have to say, what you have been telling me for the best part of 3 years. Craig Guildford, the West Midlands Chief Constable, still in a job this morning, despite the fact that this police force and this Chief Constable lied via AI, made up a game that Maccabi Tel Aviv actually played against my team, which they didn't, to incite, to use as an excuse that there was crowd trouble, blah, 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 blah. There is definitive proof that this man has kowtowed to the Muslim areas in Birmingham, and let me just say, this is not racist or far right, this is just straight language here. He's kowtowed to a certain demographic to get a game banned or fans banned. He's been caught out lying. We've got a Home Secretary who stood up and said, "Oh, I can't know anything about it, although I think he's rubbish at his job." We've got a Police and Crime Commissioner, a Corbynista, who's going, "Well, we need to look at the facts in a month." That Parliament could have sat all night. That police force should be in special measures. That Chief Constable should be sacked instantly. It is beyond me, because we're getting to a point, Pete, without over-egging this, that there are people ringing here and writing and saying, how many more police forces are corrupt and are basically basing their decisions on what local groups might or might put pressure on them for? I think it's a terrible situation.
Yeah, let's be very, very clear about this. Certain Muslim tyrannical mobs were planning to attack Jews, Maccabi Tel Aviv supporters, if they came to Aston Villa for that game. And the police knew it. They were arming themselves. They were going to, with anti-Semitism coursing through their veins, they were going to attack Maccabi Tel Aviv supporters. But Craig Guildford and his senior leadership team completely spun it the opposite direction and said that we've got to ban their supporters from coming, the Maccabi Tel Aviv, because they're violent and they'll cause trouble. In other words, as you pointed out, and I want to iterate, Craig Guildford lied to Parliament through cowardice. They didn't have the balls to go, right, who are these mobs? Where are they arming? Let's go and target them. Let's go and arrest them.
Why?
No.
Why?
Because they are afraid of Muslim gangs rising up in such numbers that they either can't or won't tackle head on. It is cowardice at the very heart of this story.
But you say cowardice, it also begs other questions, which is, if and I know you've talked about it a lot, if the very people that we pay and expect to, how do I put this, see through the difference between right and wrong, police our streets, do the right thing, if they're able to change direction under pressure from whatever demographic, religious group or whatever, how in the name of God is crime ever going to be solved? And are we going to get to a situation where this isn't this is the norm, because this is appalling. We've already found out today we can't vote, 4 million of us. We're now saying that people that, you know, are supposed to control law and order, you can possibly buy them for a few quid or a bit of pressure. It's appalling.
Moreover, they are betraying the very tenet of policing, which is to police impartiality and without fear or favour. They are absolutely ripping up that rule book, and they are being pushed, persuaded, bullied, coerced, steered by tyrannical mob rule. That's the state we've got to, and it is utterly appalling. People need to stand up to these criminals. I would have been delighted if a senior officer came to me and said, Blex, there's a mob of people looking to arm themselves and attack some football fans. I'd say, lovely, leave it to me, Governor. I'll go and find out where they are, find out where their weapons are, and they will be nicked.
Why do you think that doesn't happen anymore, mate?
Cowardice. Yet again, they are being persuaded. They are captured by minority vocal gangs who they are, quite frankly, terrified of, and they will not stand up to. Yet again, it's cowardice.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because, of course, whenever we have this debate, or when this debate is started, you have to be very careful, because people will say, you know, you're being this, you're being that. I'm not. I don't care whether I don't care what the religious group, I don't care who it is. If people bring pressure to bear on the police and the police buckle, in my mind, you're heading towards anarchy. I mean, to me, and also, Pete, and I'm really strong on this, it also highlights something that disgusts me. I find all racism abhorrent. There are millions of Jews, there are millions of Muslims in this country that live their lives correctly and brilliantly. I'd like them to be more vocal about the more radical side, but there we go. Anti-Semitism, and Dan Hodges said this at 8 o'clock, has never been, and I hope, I mean, I presume, hopefully one day it will be, it's never been given the same attention or that Islamophobia and other things. The fact is, just because Jews are white does not mean anti-Semitism is worse than any other form of racism. And this is blatantly cowing down to this Muslim minority, and this is anti-Semitic behaviour. This guy, I thought you'd be incandescent with rage. He should be absolutely stripped of his job. I'd have had him in this morning and sacked him. I wouldn't even care if I didn't have the power. I'd have made the power overnight in the House of Commons. That's what I'd have done if I was Mahmood.
It is an absolute disgrace that as we sit here this morning broadcasting to your audience, Craig Guildford is drawing a very fat salary. It is absolutely outrageous. If I were a serving police officer, I don't care about the colour of the skin, about the race, about the ethnicity, about whatever religion somebody might follow. If somebody came to me and said, here's a group of people, they are looking to arm themselves and they are looking to hurt another group of people, I would say, thank you very much, Governor. We will gather the evidence, and when we have sufficient, we will arrest them, we will hopefully charge them and put them in front of a court of law, no matter who they are.
Couldn't agree more, mate. Where does it end, do you think? Do you think that he will fall on his sword? Do you think he'll be sacked? Do you think that the pressure will continue to build? And what do you think? I mean, here's an irony for you when you've answered that. Apparently, Meghan Markle and Harry could be coming to the United Kingdom this summer to Birmingham for the Invictus Games. Do you think the police will be able to protect them, or do you think they'll tell them to stay away? Hypocrisy.
For the sake of the good cops, for the good cops that are out there this morning, this afternoon, tonight, overnight, while we sleep, the good, honest, selfless public servants who run towards danger and would be summarily sacked if they lied like Guildford has lied. For all those good cops, something must change. Guildford must go, and senior police officers must reconnect with an age-old concept of truth, honesty, fearlessness and impartiality.
Pete, stay there. I've got a couple of calls. I'd like you to be involved. Well, just one, actually. Just go to, I don't know where it is. Let's go to Kevin in North Yorkshire. Kev, good morning. You're through to myself and Peter Bleksley. What you got?
Well, he's obviously morally bankrupt and incompetent. But the other issue I'd like to bring on that is the idea that he's used AI to do this or blamed it on AI. Doesn't that tell you something about the reliance on AI, on the fact that that it gives you the answer that you want, not the answer that you need, and that there's too much reliance on it. And it's frightening how this would happen. I have an ex-colleague that went for a job interview, and what happened was he got the job, he was given the job, he was offered the job, and they ran the process through AI, and they said, oh, no, actually, the second person actually looked better through AI, so we're going to have to hold the interviews again. And it's terrifying that there's a reliance on this, and these incompetent people can then use it to get the answer that they want, not the answer that they need.
Pete, is there a high... Thank you, Kev. Pete, is there a high sort of use of AI, do you think, in police?
It is an absolutely brilliant point that he raises, but moreover, what it shows is the disconnect between the police and the public and their ability to gather intelligence. Gathering intelligence is often murky, sometimes challenging, and sometimes you have to be extremely lawfully audacious. Using AI is pathetic. There's a massive disconnect. They don't know how to do the very, very basics of policing, these clowns.
One more call quickly. Cliff, good morning. We've got 1 minute. You're with me and Peter Blexley. Speak to me, my friend.
Hello, Jeremy, Peter. Yeah, ex-copper myself, sort of middle management. This guy, he's got to go. He basically laid the carpet out when he said that he couldn't police a football match with the third biggest police force in the country, approximately 9,000 officers. At least 4,000 of those are operational, and probably 2,000 of those are specially trained to deal with that. Okay? And the big thing is the integrity of this man, it's zero. And that runs all the way down from top to bottom.
You'd agree with that, Pete, wouldn't you, quickly?
Entirely. He has to go. He simply has to go. It's appalling.
Listen, tonight is where the Peter Blexley show rolls into what town?
Stamford, but it's sold out. So try and get a ticket for Basildon on Friday, Nottingham Saturday, Guildford Sunday, and I'll see you there.
Blexley, before we go, how's Mrs B's driving across the UK going? Is it all right?
She's absolutely wonderful. She's the best tour manager a man could wish for.
He is. She's about 10 feet from him. He is absolutely under the thumb. See you later, kid. Good luck tonight. Looking forward to it. This is Talk Breakfast.